The Phoenix Suns rack up another double-digit win without Chris Paul, moving to 8-4 without the point god after the All-Star break, and most importantly, move 6 wins away from their franchise record for the regular season. Can they get there? We'll talk about it today's episode of Locked On Suns.
You are Locked On Suns, your daily Phoenix Suns podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are back. This is Locked On Phoenix Suns. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, and I'm your host, Brendon Kleen, a contributor at Suns.com, as well as Dime Magazine, and a credentialed media member covering the Suns the past 5 seasons. Thank you for making Locked On Suns your first listen today and every day. We are everywhere, YouTube and every podcast platform. We are free. The best way to keep us free is to keep listening, to do exactly what you are already doing. So a big thank you to everybody who has found us. Continue to listen and support by scrolling down just a bit, hitting that subscribe button, and telling every Suns fan in your life to do the same. 129, 112, another double-digit win, another balanced win, another win led by the invincible, the excellent, the superheroic Devin Booker. We'll cover that. We will cover the incredible stretch that Devin Booker has been having, but 8-4 without Chris Paul, as I said at the top of the show, and nearing some interesting benchmarks here, the Suns, and it's a good opportunity to kind of check in on some of the big picture stuff this season, because I already talked yesterday on the recap of yesterday's game, just how the Suns have been able to get these double-digit wins, these blowout wins so consistently without Paul. So you can listen to that show to get a little bit more into the weeds on that. But with this win, they have now eclipsed the number of double-digit wins that they had in the 12 games heading into the All-Star break with these 12 games post-All-Star break. And of course, again, no Paul in the lineup. So incredible that they've been able to do this. You can probably poke holes in the schedule. Obviously, they played the Blazers and the Pelicans and the Rockets and the Magic, and I understand that, but nevertheless, I mean, you are going 8-4. That's a 67% type of win rate here without your best player, without your most important player, the guy who sets everybody else up, puts everybody else in position to succeed. So you can't say enough good things about that. But another aspect of this has been the balance. And in the past 12 games, of course, same stretch here after the All-Star break, no Chris Paul, the Suns have had at least 4 starters in double digits in 11 of those games, including tonight. So almost every single game since Paul has been out, the Suns have basically risen to the occasion in terms of balance, which we knew was going to need to happen without Paul in there. They have done that. And at least 4 out of 5 starters have been in double digits in every game but one since the All-Star break. The one game where that didn't happen, I honestly think you probably could guess it. It is that Friday night mayhem game where Cam Johnson scores 38 and hits the game-winning shot. That is the only time since the All-Star break that the Suns have not had at least 4 starters in double digits, and that's because Cam was the one scoring all the points, and he came off the bench in that game. So the balance has been there better than anybody's wildest dreams, I think. And look, the Suns are always a balanced team. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary for them to have 4, 5, 6 guys in double digits on a normal night, even with Paul in there, because he's a good lock to get double digits himself, but he's also going to create so many shots for other guys that balance will almost always be there. So it's not out of their identity for this to be happening, but I just can't help but just marvel at it that it's happening without him. And again, tonight you have Payne with 11 assists, Booker with 4, and then tonight you had Bridges with 5 assists, and then Aaron Holiday with 6, who has been playing just the most unselfish basketball I can remember from such a young player who's finding himself on a new team. Holiday just pass first completely the past week or so. It's been very, very strange, but awesome to see for him. So that balance has been carrying the Suns. The blowouts have been helping. But the main thing I want to cover here as well is this win record. And that's how I started the show. And I want to spend some time on it here, but I want to almost knock on some wood first because I feel I've hesitated to talk about it too much heading into this. And then, of course, I did it like 2 weeks ago, and all of you guys in the YouTube comments very much appreciated. We're like, hey, the record's not 64, it's 62. You're completely right. I don't know why I thought it was 64. But regardless, 62 wins. Suns have done that 2 times. That's the bar. The Suns now after this game, 56-14. So they have played 70 games. They have 12 left. They need to win 7 to set a new record. They need to win 6 in order to tie it, be equal to the previous high, become the 3rd team to do it, and I guess almost generate a little bit of a curse, the curse of 63 wins if that were to happen. But it's funny because the reason I wanted to do this is it's exactly the halfway point in terms of the games that the Suns had left after the All-Star break. They had 24 games. They've now played 12. So we're at the halfway point. The pace so far has been 8 out of every 12. If the Suns were to continue on that pace, and we also have to remember Chris Paul could come back, and then that would obviously raise their floor, raise their ceiling too a little bit. And so even if they don't get, let's say they don't get Paul, everything stays exactly the same. You also don't have the Devin Booker COVID absence probably to worry about. You would expect Cam Johnson to come back at some point. All of that aside, 8 more wins would put the Suns at 64. 7 wins, which would be 7-5, just a tick above 500 the rest of the way, would put them at 63, and it would still set the record. And 500 is all they need to tie that record. So I don't know if there's active day-to-day record odds for Suns for NBA team over-unders and things like that, but I would definitely bet the Suns, whatever the line is. I feel like they are cresting right now. They are still improving. They are reaching the top of what they can be, but I don't think we've seen it yet. And considering that they're being relatively patient with these injuries, I mean, we'll see with Paul, but imagining that he comes back with maybe a game or 2 left in the regular season, or maybe to start the playoffs, whatever it might be, and you get Cam Johnson in the next week or 2, you are looking at a team that is getting better and has an opportunity to set the record and obviously has a title chase ahead of them. So after another blowout win, I don't feel like diving into the semantics of all of the different ups and downs of the game necessarily made sense, but I did just feel like we had to kind of check in on that at this halfway point post break, because the Suns, it's right there for them, and I think they'll do it. Let's talk about Devin Booker. This second segment all week has been just a shrine to Devin Booker, and today is not changing that. First, though, our next partner has a product that I've literally been using every day. And that is AG1 from Athletic Greens. I started taking Athletic Greens because, well, I've tried other things. I've tried Z-Packs and those types of vitamin mixes, tried energy ones. I've tried matcha tea with a bunch of stuff in it that's supposed to be good for me, but nothing was as good as AG1. With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you support your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, as well as energy, recovery, focus, and aging. And you really feel it. That's the thing that I've noticed. A lot of these past ones, you're like, okay, I guess theoretically I won't get sick as often. Maybe I'll feel a little bit more energized. Maybe my gut will feel a little bit cleaner, but you don't always know. You almost convince yourself. It's like a placebo effect, but I felt it ever since I started taking AG1. It's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially as we continue through flu and cold season. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills or supplements, just to make sure your health is right. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is giving away a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens/NBA network. Of course, that's all one word again. athleticgreens.com/NBA network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutrition insurance. Devin Booker again scoring a point per minute. That's right, a point per minute, 36 points, 36 minutes, but the efficiency is where we need to go here. 15 of 24 from the field. That's where your eyes will go when you open this box score. If you missed the game, if you're just checking back through it, yes, Booker was better than 67% from the field. Better than, what is that? Yes, better than 67%, made more than 2/3 of his shots. I'm doubting myself here, but the numbers will do that to you if you stare at them too long. This guy is on an absolute tear, probably, in my opinion, the streak of his life, basically since the first of the year. I talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I want to get a little bit more specific today. So heading into tonight's game, Booker was at, let me get this correct here so I don't lie to you guys. Well, let me see this. He made 7 of his first 8 shots. And at that point in time, I made a note to myself that put him at 59% from inside the arc since the All-Star break. He finished the game 10 of 12, so he went 3 of 4 the rest of the way after that, which is getting him ever closer to 59-60% from 2-point range since the All-Star break. He is creeping closer to 50%, which this game might have actually boosted him up over 50% from 2-point range on the season, which is usual for him. It's an every year thing, but it hasn't been the case so far this season. He took a lot more threes and had some inefficient games early in the year, etc., but he's getting there now. And then he's 5 of 12 from deep. So he's getting back toward 40% from deep this year after dipping to about 37% for most of the past couple of months. He was obviously at 43 or so right away to start because he was so hot to open the season. But you get where I'm going here. He is at 87% from the free throw line. That is actually the furthest away that he is in any category. Although I guess I'm remembering now, 50-40-90 is not 3-point, 2-point free throw. It is 3-point field goal free throw. And unfortunately, the extra 3-point attempts will probably limit his ability to get to 50% from the field. You have to be so incredibly efficient from deep to get that 50-40-90. You really have to be a 40+% 3-point shooter the whole season. I mean, catching up after the fact and everything else, you need to be steady from deep in order for that to happen. I think he actually could get there from 3. I think he could get there from 2, but the field goal percentage is at 45. The free throw percentage is at 87. No matter what, this guy is, you want to talk about getting better as the season goes along. He has been the number one reason that I think you have to feel optimism that the Suns are still getting better and still finding ways to tinker, adjust, and just feel more of a sure thing. Like, I just think you watch this team, like I never felt like this game was going to be lost. I mean, I know it's the Rockets. It's not exactly a revelation on my part to say that they weren't going to lose to Houston, but you just, with him at the helm, even without Chris Paul, you just feel confident. I do have to shout out today, though, especially the at-rim shooting, which is something that Booker does not always do. I think we all can say that pretty safely. But tonight they were 24 of 29 at the basket, which is 83%. And they didn't get to the rim a ton, but it was almost half their shots, which is more than it usually is. And they were converting them at an unreal rate. You obviously had DeAndre Ayton with that mean shoulder into Christian Wood. I actually don't even know if that counted. I think it was in the fourth quarter. I don't even know if that counted as a layup, as an at-rim shot, because it was a hook shot. He probably was too far out for it. But Booker was actually a big reason why they were able to get to the basket as much as they did. And so I don't know. I wonder, I found myself thinking today that I wonder if Booker getting these on-ball reps like this could be a little bit of a quiet, subtle tipping point for his season to get more used to driving to the basket, because a lot of the ways in which he gets the ball as an off-ball scorer with Chris Paul handling the offense is almost going away from the basket. He'll get a dribble handoff kind of headed toward the top of the key, or he'll come toward the top of the key to catch a ball off of a screen and go up for three, or he'll get into a position where he's expected to set up DeAndre Ayton on a lob around the basket or something like that. But he doesn't often get the chance to just drive straight downhill and shoot at the basket. So 24 of 29, that's not broken down by player. So I don't necessarily know how many of those were Booker versus anyone else. I'm sure a lot of those were Bridges, Craig, Ayton, a lot of the other points coming from those three guys. But Booker, efficiency ruled the day. He has been so great in that category and overall as a player. And again, these second segments of these recap shows are just becoming more and more of a collage, a shrine, a painting, an ode to the all NBA bound, hopefully, Devin Booker. Let's close things out. I actually have a new recap segment, an easy way to blow past some of these guys. We'll start with exactly who you think I'm going to start with if you pay attention to this show on the Bench Mob Vibe Check. Player who actually started today, but is a key part of the bench. We'll get to that in just a second. First, though, guys, today, whenever you are listening to this, college basketball's tournaments are finally upon us. And from all the latest odds, contests to player props, betonline.net is the number one source for all of your sports betting needs and info this March. BetOnline remains the best spot for scores, podcasts, and news to inform your betting in March, but also beyond. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your continued source for all sport wagering info, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Make it feel just like Vegas. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action at betonline.net. BetOnline, where the game starts. Let's close things out here with the Bench Mob Vibe Check, a player who actually was a substitute stand-in starter today. You know where I'm going. Torrey Craig. Really, probably, if not for Devin Booker, this guy would get the game ball. 14 rebounds is honestly probably where you have to start. And because the reason I say that is because Craig, to me, his entire game is predicated on energy from his teammates, energy in the game. When the game is charged up and fast paced, he's going to excel. Tonight, it wasn't always fast paced, but obviously the Rockets sort of create that chaos with how young they are. And the offensive rebounding is a big part of that. That was such a key to how he was able to score last season for the Suns. How many times did we see the Suns get out on the break, turn a team over, run, often with campaign because Craig was playing with those bench lineups, and a missed layup, a missed three in transition for the Suns, and then Craig with a follow-up dunk or layup putback off of that transition shot. I mean, that is about as signature a type of Craig moment as I think you can dream up. And he has not been hitting the offensive glass like that since he has come back to the Suns. So to see him do that today, to see him use that rhythm to then start to make his threes and get confident in other ways. He got some and one calls. I think he had 2 and ones in this game. Either that or, and I'm pretty sure they were both and ones, his 2 free throw attempts. And he was a team high plus 27. So I talked yesterday about hoping that his, I think he made 2 threes and had double-digit points, that I hoped that night that he had yesterday would be what spurred along his season, what kind of got him back on track. And then, look, things fall into line here. The Suns decide to sit Jay Crowder in this game. Craig comes in, plays 34 minutes as the starter, and is able to keep the rhythm up, is able to continue his hot play. And again, you want to talk about this team sort of peaking, or at least trying to peak as the season comes to a close and the playoffs start. I mean, Craig getting back on track is a huge part of that. He was excellent in that first week after He was traded to Phoenix heading into the break, and then ever since the All-Star break, he's not been very good. Part of you wondered, well, is that because Chris Paul's not around? Is that he's just not getting the shots that he was getting when he was healthy for last year's playoff run? And I think you're seeing he doesn't need to have Craig. He doesn't need to have Paul in order to be successful. So him being healthy and right and fit to play, whatever, that's a good phrase from soccer for all of you potential soccer fans out there. His fitness being where it needs to be will just go a long way in this bench coming together. The other segment here, trying to think, whiplash highlight reel is what I want to call it. So just a few other observations from this game. Mikal Bridges, 44 minutes in a game where Monty clearly wanted guys to be able to rest. He ended up bringing people back in around 8 minutes because the Rockets weren't going away. But Bridges actually never sat down and had to be brought back in. He actually started the fourth quarter, played all of it. He only was on the bench for 4 total minutes in this game, and he didn't waste one of them. There were multiple moments in this game where Rockets players threw the ball off the ground or off the backboard and were able to get dunks off of it. I don't know why they're clowning around like that, considering they lost this game by double digits on their home floor. Probably not something that head coach Stephen Silas is too thrilled about, but one of them early in the game, I believe, was Kevin Porter Jr. Mikal was none too pleased, and then swiped the passing lane on one of the next possessions. It may have been the very next possession. Gets in the passing lane, gets a fast break dunk, and then has all kinds of stuff to say about the fact that it's BS right in the Rockets bench faces after he gets a dunk of his own, and probably was a little easier to do that considering the Suns were winning. I don't know what Houston really was doing there. I talked about the DeAndre Ayton hook shot, but if you had shown that to somebody in 2018, his rookie year, I think we may have peed ourselves. It would have been a surprise. It would have been shocking and taken us to another plane of existence, but it also would have been exciting as hell because it's a sign of growth. It's a sign of growth for Ayton that he can catch the ball. He has always had this against Christian Wood. For whatever reason, Wood is athletic. Wood can score. He is pretty finesse and versatile in terms of being able to take you off the bounce. And he's a skilled player. He's a talented player. He's making a ton of money for the Rockets. But Ayton has never been scared of this guy. It was one of the best moments of Ayton's season last year around this time, heading toward the playoffs, that he just took it to Christian Wood late in the game and the Suns were able to win. So I don't know what it is, but that hook shot, it was just left shoulder right into Wood, righty hook, and it was money. And of course it was, because that shot is always there for Ayton. He's so good at it. And if he's looking for it and using strength and physicality to get there, he's becoming a real versatile force inside, and it's exciting to watch. I don't know if I have anything else for you guys. Aaron Holiday's a great passer. Devin Booker is getting really good at skip passes. I mean, we don't need to do a notebook dump. This was a double-digit win over the Rockets in the regular season. But look, man, this team is playing out of their mind and coming together at the right time. I don't worry at all about putting Chris Paul back into the mix. Like, this team's right where it should be. And it's exciting to watch. It's fun to watch. They're winning. They're blowing teams out. I'm giving you guys short podcasts because there's not a whole lot to dive into. This is what it's all about. This is fun. I kind of wish we could fast forward through the playoffs, or through to the playoffs at least. But so I wanted to start with the winning record, the record of wins part here, because that's what this season's about to me. The 1 seed's locked up. The number 1 overall seed in the NBA is locked up basically. And the Suns have blown out their over-under. If you guys didn't remember, it was 50.5, which is a joke. It was a joke from the very beginning. It's a joke now, and they've already eclipsed that. So just enjoy the ride, everybody. I am certainly myself. We're here with you every single day. Aaron Edwards will be here tomorrow to close out the week. So thanks for making Locked On Suns your first listen post-game and on off days with Aaron and friends. But that'll do us. Now go make Locked On NBA your second listen. I'll be on tonight, actually. to catch up on everything around the NBA on Wednesday night.